Like he said, I'm Cassie. I teach 6th grade language arts at Hazard Middle School. I have a really big problem with reading achievement with my 6th grade students. Their reading levels are noticeably low. According to assessment data, only 35% of my RTI class was reading on an appropriate grade level, and the other 65% were reading below an appropriate grade level. So why did I want to do anything that had to do with reading? Because it's an essential skill that students need for success in school and as adults. Because I tell them that all the time, because they hate to read, the majority of them do. Not only do students need to have the ability to read, they also need to be able to read well. So why do my students rebel against reading? Most of them don't like to because they say it's boring. That's usually the response I get. How many have ever asked one of their students why they don't like to read and they say it's boring? That's pretty much the stock answer. So how can their view of reading change from something they see as a chore to something that they enjoy? So my research question was, will student choice increase reading performance? So the things that I needed to do this were my RTI students, classroom library books purchased with my grant, the STAR reading program to assess their reading levels, and I also did student questionnaires and observations. So to assess reading levels, I did 3 rounds of assessment, and they were done in August, December, and March. The first assessment was done prior to students having any input regarding the books in our classroom library. So it was pretty much right when school started when I took their initial reading levels. Now, here's their data. This is my one RTI class. I do have several special ed students in that class. This notes which one of them are special ed. But you can see the blue bar is August, December is the orange, and March is the more yellow one. So, I mean, you can see the differences in their reading levels. They did definitely improve. Did they all get to 6 or above? No, but they all did improve. And especially like this first one over here. I mean, he went from a 3.3 to begin with to a 5.9. And let me just say, with my boys, I've noticed a huge increase in reading because I kind of targeted the boys more than the girls because I feel like they're harder to get to read a lot of the times. So my student questionnaires and observations, they've shown that they absolutely prefer having a classroom library that contains books chosen by them to suit their own personal interests. What I did before I ever even got the grant, I made up like a sheet and sent around for them to write down any book that they would want, any topic, anything. And I didn't have one kid that didn't at least write a topic down or something like that. Off-task behavior has went down during their downtime. Most of the time, if they finish early, they know, I mean, it's routine to get out their AR books and read. Students who normally struggle to complete accelerated reader tests have shown noticeable improvement. Our book checkout log is several pages long now, so I actually put it into a binder. So this is how they do their book checkout. At this point, they're used to it, and they just completely do it on their own. When they get a book, they put the date, their name, the title, the author's last name, and then when they turn it in, they write the date back where the check-in goes, put their name on a Post-it, put the book down, and then when I go through and double-check, I highlight off whenever their book is there and it's been turned in. And so that shows you what it looks like once I've checked it and then how they do it. And you can barely read that one, but I know who it was. So at the very beginning of the year, this is what our library looked like. That's after me buying books. The bunch of kids I had last year didn't understand that when you check a book out, you bring it back. So, I mean, that's it. That's all we had. And some of my kids don't get to go to library every week. It just depends on the rotation. So, unless they would go to the library, the public library, sometime on their own time, which nobody does, unless they were able to find something in my room, then, I mean, I really don't know when else they would be able to find a book. So I can't say I blame them for not wanting to read any of those. Now, this is what it looks like now. So these were when they were coming in. I had to just totally move where I had my books because I didn't have room for all of them now. They're organized better. They like to sit around wherever they want to and read. So it's definitely an improvement. And that's all.